And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Jason Avery joining us. Avery Construction, Avery Consulting and Design. Construction Success is the Constructing Success is the name of his consulting firm. Natacha Sanderson also joins us, Stage to Sell Tampa Bay. And we're going to talk with our experts here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I want to thank you as well for supporting the program and reaching out to the show hotline. You know, we've had an uptick in calls lately supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our 80 different categories of consumer advocates here on the program. You know, some of our partners been with us for over a decade now, over 10 years. Jason Avery, one of those in that category with, who else is in that initial list? That's Jay Smith, Will Smith.
Jay from Snoop Dogg.
Jay Smith, Snoop Dogg, Fred Muth, Forever. Yep, that's right. And
Fred D. Felice. Yeah.
Freddie D. Yeah.
We have it at our house. My wife calls it Fred Water.
Yeah, Fred Water. That's right. That's right. You know, it's truly better. Like, and that's what's cool about it is, you know, our expert contributors are truly the best in all of Tampa Bay. Each category you look at it, it's like, hey, man, we've got great attorneys. We've got you know, our CPA, financial advising, all the home service providers, constructing
those
success.
Whole competitions are going on right now. This is the season. You got Best of the Best running with Tampa Bay Times. I believe Creative Loafing. There's a few of those, and they're all online, available to vote. You can vote daily for the contractors or the venues that you love. If it's your favorite restaurant, your favorite dry cleaner, your favorite baker, you know, anybody can be nominated into that list. And then if you vote for them, you know, give somebody a chance to be named the best of the best in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, get out there and vote.
We enjoy residing there.
I like it. Yeah, man, it's good stuff. And so we're going to dive deep into that too as well. Jason is fresh off a 2-week European vacation, so he's going to talk about how he consults to allow business owners to build their businesses to where they can do that as well. So awesome stuff coming up here on the program. Also, feel good story of the day: Supermom sticks to breastfeeding schedule while running 60-mile ultra marathon. 6 months postpartum. So wow, you know, that's what an awesome story. Supermom there. 10 most expensive houses in Florida as well. We'll hit on some of the top houses selling in the Sunshine State here, the state of Florida, also on the program. A couple of hot listings here. We like to feature our listings on air, maximizing the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate. You know, our goal is to help our sellers sell faster for more money, maximum profit, which leads to a maximum profit net sheet and a shorter marketing period. A couple of hot listings here. 221 Howard Drive. This one's beautiful, Bel Air Beach, Florida. $1 million listing from the Platinum MVP team. 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,500 square foot single family home. Exclusive Bel Air Beach location. You have a gorgeous 3-island kitchen with Thermador appliances, saltwater pool, 100 feet of water frontage, deep water access. Bring your boats, bring your jet skis. Historic Howard Drive boasts one of the highest land elevations in the area, and you're 1 block to beach access, where you have access to the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Pinellas County. 221 Howard Drive, awesome property. 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon. 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 1-car garage, 1917 square foot, new flooring and fresh carpet throughout, a whole house water filtration system. And again, we hope that's Fred Water. We hope that's the waterscience.us there. Get a level 2 EV charger in the garage there, and it's a beautiful community pool, great community there, and a gorgeous kitchen, lighter color kitchen cabinetry, stainless steel appliances. And check out 2547 Lexington Oak Drive, Brandon, Florida. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Quick shout out to our friends over at Brio Tuscan Grill, Tampa restaurant partner. Brio Tuscan Grill, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Gabriel, the general manager, and Chef Oscar Ramirez. They've got their lunch special menu out now, happy hour daily as well. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance, and a friendly wait staff. Brio Tuscan Grill, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, Jason Avery, welcome back in, sir.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you what, it's a kind of a hectic week. Of course, you return from vacation, so there's some emails and some follow up calls you got to do. But I tell you what, it's very manageable. And, that's something that I really appreciate these days is the quality of life and listening to the mentors that helped teach me how to get where I'm at, and in constructing success, which is what I'm trying to teach other entrepreneurs, is how to make that business work without you. And you should be able to leave, and it shouldn't break down.
Right.
And 2 weeks I was gone, and new clients were brought to the table with new designs and contracts. Existing clients continued progress, and jobs were going in the ground, and money was being collected. No major fires to put out. The team didn't murder each other while I was gone. So,
well, here's the question: did you take your cell phone and did you have to answer it?
So I, for many vacations, have not kept my cell phone at all. I do not buy the Wi-Fi package. In this case, because we were going all the way to Europe, it was my first European trip, and I decided to buy the calling plan so I wouldn't get all the roaming charges. And with that, so every time I was on port, I could see what was happening. I didn't have to tend to anything.
Right.
I chose to respond to a few text messages where the client was maybe asking a tough question of the team, and I didn't want to see the team be taken advantage of, because I work for women, and I know these women well, and some of them can be a little feisty at times, and sometimes I have to say, hey, okay, play nice. And so, but anyways, I chose to respond to a couple things. I was not forced to. My team was handling it regardless, but I just felt that it would make the process for everybody more comfortable, with just a few words that I could chime in on. So, but I have, my assistant who's cleaning out the email box of all the junk and the spam and making sure the receipts go to the accounting and making sure a warranty or issue might go to the production and a new prospect goes to the design team. Just keeping it sorted, keeping it moving. And that's what it does on a day that I'm here in town. And I lead that, I build that process. And that's what I like to try and mentor others. From day one, if you are a tradesman, a craftsman, you're a designer, you build something of a sort, and if you're building a business, you cannot be the person that does that anymore. And from day one, I sold that first project, and my son and I worked on it for 2 weeks out of a 4-week, time frame to complete. But I recruited in that first team. I said, I need you to take over. I have to free up to go build the next part of this for you, to go capture the next sale. Because if I'm sitting there swinging a hammer, I'm not out there finding the next job, right?
Right.
And so there's lots of hills and valleys, and that's where some of these contractors just won't get out of their own way, and they hit a brick wall after robbing from Peter to pay Paul for a while. One bad job, you're belly up. So right away I got a team to finish the project I'm on, and I said, I'll have the next one waiting before you're done. And I went to the home show, I gathered the leads, I ran the estimates, and I found the sales, and yes, they had a job waiting. And then when they had 2 jobs waiting, now I needed another crew, because if I have the customer wait too long, I'll have a diminishing return. I'm going to lose the customers. They're not going to wait forever, right? So, and just like a swooshing bowl of water, the sales and the production, they have to keep, you sell a little more, now I got to hire some more people.
Exactly.
And managing that fluctuating timeline in the middle as your buffer, your safety net. But if it gets too quick of a timeline, now you're losing teams because they're not back to back on their jobs.
Question: when you're taking in a new lead, you gave the home show example. Is there an automation or a system that you use to scan that card in, and then it goes into your system, and then you've got the follow-up triggers? Talk to me about that. So
I will tell you that these days I actually employ a director of marketing, and she has moved my company to a more advanced level like that. So yes, all those things are possible and doable, and we are actually doing many of them now. But for the new startup business, and you can invest, I think I pay $800 a month for that software. Right. So, but we're at the volume now where we can make a bigger difference in our outreach. Sure. So, but when it comes to the guys starting up, I'm an Excel wizard. I just set up my own Excel spreadsheet to do exactly what I wanted to do. I had one page where I just listed, here's their name, address, and phone number. Here's where I found them. Here's what the current status of our conversation is, or what date I last saw them, what estimates I've already given them. And you just keep it all in one row, and you keep all your customers on one page, and make sure you're sorting them out, and maybe putting them on when's the next time I have to follow up. What's the date out, I would say. Sure. So I can move them to the bottom of the list, organized by date. I don't have to pay attention to the entire sheet. I just got to focus on the one where the dates are coming due, and am I moving those jobs along?
Right.
And so they would come in on one page where we call it the master leads list, and they go to one of 2 other pages afterwards, sold or no good. You know? But then you just clip and move one row to the next. But it's a real just easy, simple way to sort your stuff and keep it. What goes on paper gets done. The key to growing any business is not just delegating everything, but following it up and making sure they did what you said you want them to do, and they did it the way you wanted it done. And sometimes people think they got a better idea and they don't necessarily check and balance first. And so as you grow, how do you bring new people into your organization and not let them repeat the same mistakes that the original guys had already made once before? Why pay for it twice? You already know that this thing might lead to that thing. So let's find a way that we can disclaim for it or check a box, make sure that it's been looked at, that the new guy knows to ask that question. So, getting yourself separated from the labor when you're the business owner, your job is to sell that labor. That's what you provide within your organization, and now you got to provide more and more of it to scale it. And so as we kept adding teams, adding additional designers, adding additional project managers, today there's 45 people at Avery Construction. 10 of them that basically run the day-to-day operation. The rest are doing manual things. And then, list of subcontractors that support and, help us get more done sometimes. When we got high volume peaks, we don't have to grow the team yet. We can use some outside help. And so, how do you set that up? And then now my job is to not just find a transaction. My job is to go find a relationship with somebody that I can reciprocate with. I can give you opportunities all the time because you and I don't compete, but the customer needs both of us at the same time. So every time I get one, I'll bring you. Every time you get one, you bring me. Now we double our efforts, and that's my job. That's a revenue stream. That's not just one job. That's 10 years of jobs added up. Holy cow! That's where my time is best served. And let the rest of the team process the day-to-day, the things that I bring to the table.
Another question. I want to get to labor, and I also wanted to get to AI. How has AI has that affected your business? Are you utilizing it, or are you hearing others use it?
Within the organization, the only thing I'm using AI for is maybe drafting of new literature, marketing materials, things of that. And I'm not using it to manage the process of the system at this point. But my business is at a slower pace. My average sales over $100,000. It's going to be a drawn-out process. So, anybody who needs immediate information is calling the wrong guy. It's going to be a couple months of design, a couple months of permitting, a few months of construction. This is a thing that we're going to know each other for a while. So that's why I'm careful about choosing which clients I'm willing to work with, so that we can. I tell them I want to get to the end of this, and we're still going out on the boat together. We're going golfing together. You're still going to be my friend.
Exactly.
If we're going to break up along the way, I don't want that relationship. I try and avoid it right up front because it comes down to communication.
You can tell,
How do you communicate? How clear are you in your messaging? Are you documenting well? So there's not just a vague description of what you're providing with the total price, but heck, I'm going to itemize it. I'm going to draw it into a visual. I'm going to describe it in children's words so a kindergartner can understand.
That's right.
I'm going to tell you, here's what's included. Here's also the things that aren't included. And here's the things that maybe we run into along the way. I don't want you to be surprised by. How do you paint that really clear picture that nobody, that they can feel comfortable as it unfolds?
And they appreciate that.
Sometimes when you hear that cheap price up front, it's not necessarily that guy was trying to be really competitive, and it's not really, it's just maybe he hasn't been exposed to as many things and he hasn't run into that yet. And he doesn't know that hazard's waiting for him behind the wall. And then all of a sudden he says, whoops, we didn't know that was there. It's going to cost you extra. It's a change order. So maybe you get to the same price as the guy who bid a little more, but it's very uncomfortable. You're, surprise, because everybody's got a budget in mind. So again, trying to paint the clear picture, no surprises, no change orders unless you're adding work as we go, and which often happens. But not just contract. I'm just speaking to contractors here. I'm speaking to any entrepreneur, and if the goal of building a business is to build an asset to be sold. Nobody wants to buy your job from you. And if the job works without you, that has a value to it. And and then it comes down to the bottom line numbers and a multiplier. Every industry is different.
That's right.
So, are you positioning yourself for that now? Are you working on that every single day? That's how I'd like to help.
That's exactly right. That's what we talk about when I talk with Andrew QB. U.S. Commercial Business Capital, because he has 100% financing available for business owners. So if a business owner's renting where they have their operations at, or even their industrial. Hey, look, that's cool. You got a job. You've got a job connected to a location. But if you own that location, now you have what Jason just described. And if you have the systems in place to do what he's saying.
So, again, when you're a new young business owner, maybe you don't have all that capital, maybe you're not ready to qualify for such things. Those are great in a lot of instances. But when I set up the cabinet shop, I had to rent the space. And now, but in hindsight, gosh, I wish I looked for the cash, because if I ever want to move into my new space that I own, it's a huge build out for all that machinery and paint booth and stuff to move. So I'm kind of trapped myself in that scenario. But now, as I've matured and, accumulated some things in life, we were opening my wife's spa in Brooksville. So that's what we did. We went out and bought the building first, renovated it to be exactly what she wanted, did that under one corporation, turn it into a rental, and then now it's her corporation that'll rent. Because, when you're a business owner, you got to think about things like separation of liabilities too. What if there's a slip and fall and they sue you and stuff like that? And, so
legal structure is important.
Yeah, so there's a lot to businesses some people just haven't been exposed to yet.
Exactly. That's right. I say it like this sometimes. There's good, better, and best in every industry, and right now you're talking to one of the best. And you may hear that. People may talk about it, but I can tell you, Jason Avery, one of the best. Avery Construction. Avery Construction. He also has Constructing Success is his consulting business, and Designer Cabinets. He's a local entrepreneur. AveryConstruction.com. AveryConstruction.com. Quick break, right back. And also coming up, the top 10 most expensive houses in Florida. We've got the list. Top 10 most expensive houses in Florida. Also, Supermom sticks to breastfeeding schedule while running a 60-mile ultra marathon 6 months postpartum. Feel good story of the day coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rimes here. Did you know that we buy houses cash? We will close quickly and give you a fair offer on your home or residential properties, even commercial properties, and we will give you a fair cash offer, close quickly, and be diligent when you're shopping these types of scenarios, because a lot of the wholesalers, the flippers out there, they will sign you up on an as-is contract, and they will shop that contract and try to find a buyer, but they may not find the buyer, and they won't close. So this is Brandon Rimes, 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. Brandon Rimes, we buy houses cash and fast. Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our No Money Down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. BRimes at kw.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark. If you're facing an insurance claim, don't just trust the insurance company to have your best interests at heart. This is Brandon Rimes, Consumer Quarterback Show. Reach out to rightwaypa.com, our friend Derek Coble at rightwaypa.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. online at consumerqb.com.
All right, top 10 most expensive homes in Florida, houses in Florida coming up. We got Jason Avery in studio with us, helping you win in any marketplace as a real estate team, also as a consumer advocate on the radio. We talk about all of our expert contributors, 80 different categories, 35, 40 different show partners, ranging from CPA, financial advisors, tech experts, all different types of blue collar when you think about your handyman, plumbing, electrical, roofing, HVAC, home remodeling expert contributor Jason Avery in studio with us here as well, helping you win. Saver Hotline, we'd love to talk to you. If you have any questions, you want to hit us up on the web, consumerqb.com. Submit the email form right there at consumerqb.com. All right, a couple of hot listings. We'll jump right back into it. We've got a property on Magnolia Island Boulevard. This is 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard in Claremont. 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2 half-bath, and you have a 2-car garage. 3121 square foot, 1 acre of land. Magnolia Island is a peninsula that's home to about 30 homes in that community, so it's a very rare, exclusive club there. It's a rare gem at an excellent price. 17416 Magnolia Island Boulevard, Claremont. Also, another property here, 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs. This one's right down the road from Lake Tarpon and the Tarpon Turtle there. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage, 2,300 square feet, and too many updates to list here, too many upgrades to list. Beautiful pool and spa package, fireplace, and lighter color kitchen cabinetry with stainless steel appliances. 1210 Paradise Lake Drive, Tarpon Springs. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, Jason, tell us a little bit about your 2-week vacation, my friend. European vacation, that is.
So you have that top 10 list of there in Florida. What's the highest price one? What's number 10?
Number 10 on the list is 8-Star Island Drive, Miami Beach, $75 million.
Wow. And what was number 1?
Number 1 is Gemini 2000 South Ocean Boulevard, Lantana, $173 million. Wow. Highest price, most expensive homes in Florida.
And none of those hold a candle to the one I saw.
Okay.
So along this trip, it was cool. We flew to Barcelona. We had friends that did a transatlantic cruise on Royal Caribbean to get there.
Cool.
And then they kept going. We jumped for the second leg of the trip with them. While I promote getting away from work, I don't promote getting away for a whole month. If you want
that's a long way.
Flowing. So anyways, we did some destinations. It was starting in Corsica, and then the next day we're in Palermo, Sardinia, and the next day we're in Sicily. And I can tell you stories about all of them, but in Sicily, we visited the house of the Godfather.
Oh, cool.
Head of the mafia, man. This thing looks like a museum. I guarantee it's 10
Is it
times.
huge?
Yeah, it's probably 10 times whatever that top price was there. Because it looks like a museum, but built like, with the columns of the Parthenon, which was another place I got to visit along the way in Athens. We went to Santorini, Greece, then we went to Athens, Greece, then we went to Mykonos. But yeah, to see the Parthenon, face to face. I do construction with toothpicks, man, 2x4s of wood.
Yeah.
These people built marble columns
that
statue over you, and they've been standing there for 2,000 years.
Right.
Our country's only 250 years old, man.
Yeah.
These things have been there 10 times as long as our country.
Yeah.
And they're still standing. And the hurricane just passed by and wiped out half our coastline homes, right?
Yeah.
And
that's
gosh,
true.
we build things cheap these days compared to the way
especially the apartment buildings. They put that press board, what is that called? The particle board?
There's just so much junk out there. People trying to cheap down. But when you think about it, though, they had to use thousands of men, most of them having a whip crack behind them, I think. They had donkeys and they had rope, and they lifted these things, massive chunks. And I could talk to you about the construction of a column, how they pulled that off.
Sure.
We could do that off air. It's too much time to explain.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, we went on to stood on the sands of the Coliseum. That, again, 2,000 years old, that thing's standing there.
It's amazing.
And, Vatican City was, every cranny nook you look into has another statue. Just any one piece you could stare at and go, "Wow, this is impressive." And there's hundreds there's hundreds and hundreds.
And the ceilings.
Every lining of every roof is covered in another statue, another figure, a different pose. It's just the insanity behind the architecture and the detail and how much money did it take to construct this stuff in relative terms.
Right.
You take what they paid then and multiply it to today. Holy cow. So,
where can people connect with you, Jason?
If you are trying to grow a business and you want to figure out how to work on it instead of in it, it's construct-success.com. If it's a remodeling project or an attorney that needs help with an expert witness, I do a lot of that too. And so, yeah, you can reach Avery Construction at averyconstruction.com. And as well, the Cabinet Factory serves other contractors wholesale. So that's designercabinetsllc.com.
Designercabinetsllc.com. Avery Construction.
Always great to be here, Brandon. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Great stuff. All right, coming up, Natacha Sanderson, Stage to Sell Tampa Bay, coast to coast as well. We're going to talk about real estate as well with her. 10 most expensive houses in Florida, and our feel-good story of the day. Supermom sticks to breastfeeding schedule while running a 60-mile ultra marathon 6 months postpartum. Feel-good story of the day coming up. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rimes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in your real estate deals. If you're buying, selling, investing, we would love to help with you. Help you with that. We got top 10 most expensive houses in Florida coming up. We'll touch on that. Can you believe the pricing on these things? Whew, $173 million is the highest priced home. I believe that's over in the East Coast. Yeah, that's Lantana, Florida. We got our feel-good story as well. Supermom sticks to breastfeeding schedule while running a 60-mile marathon, and also some local real estate stats. And we're going to be talking with Natacha and her team from Stage to Sell Tampa Bay. Her construction arm is Stop the Scroll. That's for her short-term rentals and what she's doing with the reconstruction there and the renovations of rental properties. So we'll get with that here in a minute. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We like to feature our real estate listings live on air, and the properties are selling. We're getting contracts on our listings, and a lot of the strategy is about on-air promotion. 1161 Rio de Janeiro, Punta Gorda, Florida. This is down in Port Charlotte. Owner motivated. We just did a $50,000 price improvement here. You got a metal roof that was just installed in 2023. 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,574 square foot. Beautiful property. You have a pool and spa package, screened-in lanai. Great opportunity to buy real estate at 1161 Rio de Janeiro Avenue, Punta Gorda, Florida. All right, next property we'll look at is Indigo Road in Groveland, 4798 Indigo Road. This is 42 acres, investment opportunity, perfectly positioned in the heart of Groveland, Florida. 2 contiguous parcels of land, 2-2 home that's right on the residence there with stainless steel appliances, lighter color cabinetry, and a great opportunity to buy. Beautiful pool and pond packages there on this property as well. Indigo Road, Groveland, Florida. And you can see all of our real estate listings. And if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or refinancing, we would love to talk to you. Stop by our website. Check us out, platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, speaking of those troops out there, the veterans, let's do a shout out to our friends at Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. Patriot Mobile, mobilizing freedom. PatriotMobile.com, ConsumerQB /ConsumerQB for the Consumer Quarterback Show's pre-negotiated discounts. PatriotMobile.com, ConsumerQB is the site to hit up. All right, Natacha, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Yeah, what's been going on? How you been?
Can I ask a question?
Please.
What is the pond package?
Pond package?
Yeah.
There's a couple different ponds there, and he's got it set
so
up.
You own the pond. You own the water rights.
Yep, you got water rights to the pond.
Does it come with alligators?
Possible. You got your built-in hurricane survival food right there.
Yeah, there
you
you
got
go.
a hurricane, pull out the shotgun.
Tastes like chicken, right?
It does.
There you
It really
go.
does. I've tried it.
Okay.
Fry it up.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. Where I'm from, I'm from the South. I'm from South Florida, where actually one of my friends, one of my buddies growing up in school, similar to that. One of my buddies in school, his family owned a gator farm, so they would literally fly the gyrocopters out there.
Yeah.
grab the eggs, raise them all the way up to 6 feet, sell the
How big are
leather.
these eggs?
I don't know. I haven't seen the size, but I imagine they're a little bit bigger than a chicken egg. A little bit bigger.
I mean, because they come out pretty big. They come out about 2 feet
Yeah, if you
long,
if you want a decent omelet, you only need 2 of them.
There's no way you're letting me eat. No, absolutely no way.
Yeah, there you go. So, when you think about real estate, the market. When you look at the market, here's a pool. I pulled this right off of Realtor Magazine. It's the spring housing market full swing. And when you think about the residential real estate sector, it's about inventory, interest rates, and life events for a lot of real estate. So people are buying, selling, investing for different reasons. And I think right now buyers can get a really good deal. Buyers are able to negotiate deals right now because the sellers, the days on market are up. The inventory is rising, and buyers can really negotiate deals right now. You talk about concessions, sellers offering concessions, paying closing costs, buying down the rate. There's a lot of things that you can do when it comes to real estate. But your specialty, give us a little overview of what you're doing with Stage to Sell Tampa Bay and Stop the Scroll.
So what we've been doing is we've been going into a lot of properties and doing a lot of consultations. We'll do a lot of color consultations, a lot of landscaping consultations. Your first impression starts at the front door, and it's totally about curb appeal. If you can't get people in the door, you can't sell the house.
Yeah.
And then depersonalizing the house is huge because you may have some colors that you enjoy, but your buyer's not going to even be able to see past. So
exactly.
A lot of depersonalization and just making it less custom.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you look at the trending, what's trending now, definitely still the lighter colors for the most part, right?
Well, everybody seems to think gray is still in. Don't do gray.
Yeah, especially if it's a hard gray. If it's a very soft, lighter gray, right?
There's a lot of whites. The problem is there's so many different whites. Don't lean towards the gray that turns blue or purple at night. Make sure that you live in the colors, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because during the day you may see it one hint of a color, and at night you're going to see it totally different. And depending on the light fixtures that you have in your house, it's going to be totally skewed. So you're either going to go green, you're going to go purple, you might even go pink. You might just stay in the white or yellow. And that definitely just changes your attitude and the way you feel.
And we've staged several houses together, homes together, and the properties sell faster. They're getting higher dollar per square foot than they would have. And sometimes they'll even just sit. Like a lot of the expired listings that I call on expired, canceled listings. And they many times it's 180 days on market, and the first thing I see is just pictures full of the gray tile, that 20 by 20 gray tile that everybody seems to have.
It looks like
with
an
no
office building
furniture
or a mortuary.
Yeah, exactly, and the people can't see it.
It has no personality, The thing is to stand out, especially in this market now where there's lots of inventory.
Yeah. A
lot more inventory than what we've had here in Florida. I saw on Zillow that we went from number 10 to 29 in the country for... Yeah. I think that's what it said. I may be off there by a couple, but we did go from 10 into the 20s.
Well, sure. If you look at, if you want to know the exact numbers, so Hillsborough County, right now we have 6,934 active listings.
That's a lot.
And then out of those, 1,711 sold. So that gives us a 25% absorption rate.
Yeah.
And right now in Hillsborough County, we have a 4.1 month supply of inventory, and that's Hillsborough County, what we call non-distressed, meaning it's not an REO, it's not a foreclosure.
Right. Well, you know what? We got 200 staging companies in the Tampa Bay area. Over
Is it
200.
really?
Yeah, there's over 200 of us. And I can tell you that our phones have been non-stop. Of course, people don't like the prices that they hear, but, if we're moving in furniture and we're redecorating a house, giving it personality that it didn't have, you're going to get your return on investment there. Because if not, you're going to sit. So what is your holding cost?
Holding cost. That's where my mind went.
What is your mortgage payment? What is your insurance? What is your cost of holding that house vacant?
Yeah.
Versus putting a couple $1,000s worth of furniture in it. You're holding it for 60 to 90 days and potentially closing in 45.
Yep, that's right. So you look at any time in a business decision when it comes down to cost, you think about cost. It's like compared to what? Okay,
yes.
Compared to keeping this listing again for 6 months. Right. And a lot of times that's what happens when we list a property and we get a good initial offer. You get that initial offer in the first week, right?
It's
like, we're overconfident, right? And then they're not going to.
First 10 people that come through your house, one of them's your buyer. Usually your first 2 are your buyer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't ruin it.
Let's introduce your guest here, Natacha. You got two gentlemen with you here. Bill McDonald, marketing. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
So we're trying to create like a vertically integrated Airbnb short-term rental business from the acquisition to the disposition and the holding of it as well. Our plan is to crowdfund to raise capital And from there, we'll source the properties. We will manage the properties. Jonathan will come in with the construction, and we will manage the properties and make sure they get a solid ROI.
Okay. When you say manage the properties, what does that entail?
Making sure we're doing the listings correctly, having good marketing on Airbnb and all the other
VRBO and
all the other platforms.
Sure. Yeah, those are your two major platforms, right?
Exactly. Make sure we have the amenities that we need, and just make sure it's, we stop the scroll essentially.
Yeah, stop the scroll. I like that. Jonathan, tell us a little bit about the construction side, my friend.
Yes, sir. S&S Custom Contracting. We're a full design build company. So remodel, build new construction as well. But main focus is, you want something done and don't know where to start, don't know what you want exactly. We can come in, we'll actually help you pick out every fixture, every piece of tile, all your selections, put renderings together for you. And if basically with you from start to finish. Mm-hmm. So if you're a little bit clueless like some people, they know they want to remodel but don't have any ideas, we'll come in, give you some ideas. We'll go shopping with you if need be. But like I said, we're there from start to finish. Yeah,
because you look at certain, some people say, hey, I have vision for this is what I want to do, but they start not realizing, like, well, that's a load-bearing wall. You can't tear that one down. What are you thinking? Those are the challenges that you have to overcome in a lot of cases. So you look at that. Those are the questions. What's one of your top consumer tips? What's one of the things that you see the most? One of the biggest misconceptions, like for us in lending, when we're doing a lending side deal, I have my mortgage license. It's like, oh, I thought I had to have 20% down, right? Like that's one of the mortgage industry's biggest misnomers. What's your biggest misnomer?
One of the things I noticed, and one of the reasons, me and Natasha and Bill partnered up is I get a lot of clients who have a designer already. They're like, hey, I got these renderings, I got this is what I want to do. But it's kind of the same thing with like an architect. They may have the drawings and all, but that doesn't mean it can be built that way. So one of the things here is we have that. She wants to design it. We can work together where I can say, hey, no, you can't do that.
Right.
And it kind of alleviates time, it alleviates confusion.
Yep.
They give you a budget for something, and I come in, I'm like, that's nowhere near the budget.
Right.
So if you're going to hire a designer, find somebody that is partnered with a GC or somebody that does that so that you can have basically the whole team working together.
We're looking for an architect on the Consumer Quarterback Show, by the way, out there. If you're listening, anybody, if you have an architect out there, I'm looking for a business broker to partner with. Just come to mind there as well. But reach out to the show hotline if you want to talk to Natasha or her team, 813-917-1894. Just call or text that show hotline. It's 813-917-1894. And you can submit an email at consumerqb.com, and it really makes our day when we get those calls. We've seen an uptick in calls, people calling in. We got several deals going with radio show listeners, so we greatly appreciate that. All right, let's have a little fun. Top 10 most expensive houses in Florida. All right, so number 10 starts up. What do you think the top 10, the number 10 on the top 10 list is? What price point we coming in at?
Are we coming in over $100 million now?
Well, you're
what's
close.
This price per square foot? I want to know what this looks
million.
Like.
8-star Island Drive. It's Miami Beach. $75 million. That's number 10 on the list.
Okay.
So you look at. Let's just kind of pick and choose here. Ever hear of Brickell Avenue in Miami?
Yeah.
It's kind of a popular. $106.87 million. That's 3031 Brickell Avenue, Miami. You ever hear Ocean Boulevard, Palm Beach?
Yes.
All right. That's 1840 South Ocean Boulevard, Palm Beach. That's going for a cool $109.62 million.
What's the square footage?
And it doesn't. Well, maybe deeper in the pages, but I've just got the top 10.
Okay.
And let's go to number 2. You got a property here on LaGorche Circle, Miami Beach. Number 2 is at $170, and the winner for the most expensive home in Florida is Gemini. It's 2000 South Ocean Boulevard, Lantana, which is $173 million. So there you go.
That is crazy. It must be like furnished in marble and gold and just very...
Probably a view like...
Well, you got a Tesla. You got a Tesla hookup out there. You got a You've got a Starlink set up.
A couple car lifts.
You
and
got
several yachts and deep water.
Yeah, you got the Starlink set up. You got the You got the rocket out back. No, I'm just kidding.
You got the rocket out back.
Who knows?
That's a little
that helicopter
north,
pad.
Right?
Who knows? Maybe helicopter pad.
That would be cool. The helicopter pad. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
No, let's do it.
Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, they said Mar-a-Lago is only $18 million on that crooked judge.
Yeah.
Well, it's such a lie, though. I mean, it's worth, what was it, 10 times that or something they said? Really, it should have been worth close to 10 times
Apparently they didn't come with a golf course there.
Yeah, right. No, they come with their own set of rules.
We can maybe throw in some ponds there too.
Yeah. You know, hey, look, you're over there. You know, who lives on the East Coast? I mean, a lot of the big dogs, athletes, baseball, but pit bulls. Your Donald Trumps over there on the East Coast. You've got a lot of people are moving. By the way, the migration from California to Texas to South Florida, big time. Ocean Reef is a really cool place down there. It's one of the very first Upper Keys down there. Really cool area. So, a lot of great real estate.
To Tampa?
Tampa Bay, number 2 metro. Tampa Bay is number 2 metro in the state. We are the 4th most populous county. That's Hillsborough County's 4th most populous county in the state. And we're the 25th populous in the United States. So 25th, that's Hillsborough County. The Tampa metro area is 17th in the United States. So not too bad out of some pretty big, areas when you think about your New Yorks and LAs.
Are they separating like the Miami from the Palm Beach to the Boca? Or is that?
See, that's another big line. Like, where do you separate that line? Because if we threw in Bradenton,
Sarasota, are they all separate or are they all inclusive?
Well, I think that's a separate
Bay
metro.
Area?
Yeah, that's going to be a Sarasota, Bradenton metro. You're going to have Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater metro.
Lakewood Ranch does not want to be part of Sarasota, and then you've got Siesta Key, and they're all kind of like.
Yeah.
So
well, that's like family squabbling. I think that's still a little bit of the same family, but you're going to have that when you get to the municipalities. But hey, check her out online, stagetoselltb.com, stagetoselltb. Quick break, right back. More with our expert contributors in here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, we have our feel-good story of the day. Supermom sticks to breastfeeding schedule while running 60-mile ultra marathon 6 months postpartum. Coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at BrandonRimes1, at CQB Show, and follow the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're also on TikTok out there. We're on Rumble, Instagram. Of course, find us everywhere there. Consumer Quarterback Show up 700% on our views from Q4 to Q1. Thanks to you, our audience, and everybody who's clicking and following out there. Greatly appreciate it. Quick break, right back. Consumer Quarterback Show.
Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg. Online at DavidReynoldsJewelryandCoin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Blue Moon Estate Sales of Pinellas County for all of your estate sale needs. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. Reach out to Jennifer. Tell her you heard about her here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. BlueMoonEstateSales.com. And stop by their store, the Blue Moon Store, at 1479 South Belcher in Largo. 1479 South Belcher in Largo. And that's BlueMoonEstateSales.com. SJ Movers and Junk Removal, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. 727-717-0846 for all your moving and junk removal. 727-717-0846. SJ Movers and Junk Removal. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing, we would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Brimes here in studio with Natacha Sanderson and company. Stage to Sale Tampa Bay. Stop the scroll for her short-term rental business as well. We got our feel-good story of the day. Supermom sticks to breastfeeding schedule while running a marathon coming up. A couple of hot listings, and we'll jump right back into that. So we've got a property here at 10431 Southeast 127th Lane in Bellevue, Florida. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,680 square feet. You have land to move here. Bring your RVs, your recreational vehicles, and you get a little bit of a spread up there. The further north you go, you get that little bit more rural scene. So bring your four-wheelers and all that good stuff, your go-karts and all that fun stuff. All right, next property. Miller Bayou. We got a property on Miller Bayou. This is a quarter-acre lot. You have water on both sides, on two sides, and you have access to the Gulf of America. Quarter-acre lot. Build your dream home. The prestigious Martha's Vineyard subdivision of Port Richey. Buy some dirt, build a family, build a home, and enjoy life.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without. Tell me something good.
All right, feel good story. Just 6 months after giving birth, Canadian runner Stephanie Case completed a 60-mile ultra marathon through Wells, determined to regain her, quote, sanity and slight insanity, unquote, while balancing motherhood. Throughout the ultra marathon Snowdonia race, she stopped 3 times to breastfeed her daughter Pepper, including one extra break granted specifically for that purpose. Case had no pressure to perform, but gradually set higher goals as she trained and rediscovered the mental and physical benefits of running. She finished the race in just under 17 hours and hopes her story inspires others, emphasizing that staying healthy and happy as a mom can look different for everyone, even if that means running ultra marathons. There you have it. Feel good story of the day. And hey, running a marathon, I've never done it. That's a 60-mile.
I don't know if I could do it, but that's impressive.
6 months.
She was hydrated enough to pull that off.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. That's good stuff. All right, let's get final thoughts. I want to get some final thoughts from you, Natacha Sanderson. Top tips when you think about staging homes or your Airbnb business. What comes to mind?
Well, they're two very different things. So if we're selling your home, let's go ahead and depersonalize it. Let's clean it up so it looks new, fresh. It's a lot of it's just cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of dirty fingers, some mud.
Deep clean.
Some doorknobs that need to be possibly changed out. Maybe make sure you have door stops on the back of the doors, that your air conditioning vents look clean.
Repaint them if you have to.
Yeah.
Repaint certain areas if you have to.
It's so easy to do. Not very time consuming, but something that we just don't get a ladder out to do.
Right.
Get the ladder out and do it.
Yep. Declutter, de-dust, and knock it all, make it look good.
Put a fresh coat of paint on the front door. Chip the old paint off if you have to first.
Yep.
Get some DAP and fix the cracks in the doors.
Yep.
Just do some basic maintenance. Stuff that's going to save you money in the end. Why leave money on the table?
Yeah, exactly. Now, okay, so that's if you're selling, prepping to sell, getting it ready to list. Let's go to the Airbnb side. What do you think about that?
Let's stop the scroll. Let's go loud. Let's go bold.
Okay.
Let's make some fun.
Yeah.
What excites you? When you're scrolling through pages, you're going to see color. You're going to say, whoa, color just stopped me, Animal prints. Go for it. Do something wild. Do something crazy.
And the fun rooms for the kids, and you have all the different areas in those homes, right?
Yeah. Wallpaper is ceiling.
Yep.
Why not? I mean, nobody wants to get up there and do the wallpaper.
What was it?
I'll do
Dartboard?
But,
Dartboards on the wall. What was that? Or Velcro?
Wallpaper.
The Velcro.
No. Okay, Velcro, yeah.
Yeah, did the big Velcro wall.
Yeah, Velcro walls.
Pickleball courts out back now.
Yeah.
You're seeing all kinds of interesting things at some of these short-term rentals.
We do them, yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Back over here to Bill. Top tip.
For what?
Your business, your
for
line
Airbnb.
of work.
Well, you want to make it so that it has amenities that stick out.
Yep.
And you want something that's unique per room.
Yep.
So everyone can enjoy where they're staying.
Yeah. Yeah. Something unique, innovative, different. Something that's going to jump out from the other, 90 listings or however many listings in that zip code, right? Top tip, final thought.
Mine would be don't rush it. If you're a client, you're coming to us and you're looking to rush a project to get started, unless you have every single faucet, piece of tile, cabinet, everything picked out, and you have a budget, it's not worth it. Spend the time in the beginning, Let us help you get everything picked out so you have an exact budget. We don't like to do change orders.
Yeah.
If you got to do change orders during the process, it's just going to extend the time, end up costing you more money.
Right.
So I always tell my clients, look, this beginning, the first part of it, the first stage is going to be a little bit longer. It seems like it's dragging out. But once we get to the work, it's going to make that process so much smoother and quicker for you.
Yeah.
And we're not saying weeks and days. Like, we can do something like this in a 2-day period or less, you know. And this is, 3,000 square foot house. We can pick out every single fixture, every single light fixture, faucet, all the smoke detectors. We know all the rules and regulations for the area. So
I love it.
That's something we have covered.
All right, good stuff. Check her out online, stagetoselltv.com, stagetoselltv.com, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors. And another great show today. We had Jason Avery on the front end with his companies, Natacha Sanderson and Bill McDonald, Jonathan, General Contractor there as well. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And thank you again for supporting the local business owners and the local sales executives and reps that come to our show, the Consumer Quarterback Show, online at consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.